Hello, St. Patrick's and friends of St. Patrick's. Mark here with you on this another glorious week for us and our church. I'm so thankful for each and every one of you. I wanted to share something about the passage that we read and preached on this past Sunday as we concluded our series on First Peter. By the way, if you haven't had a chance to, if you weren't there on Sunday, I highly encourage you to go back and listen to the sermon online. Not because the sermon was great, but because the passage was so critical. And it was a good conclusion for what God was trying to tell us through that letter. But there was one passage, one part of the chapter in chapter 5 that I just kind of skipped over because it didn't pertain essentially to what the sermon was. But it was kind of talking about the role of elders or my role as your priest and shepherd. And I wanted to highlight a few things because Peter lays out what is clear, like 3 rules for biblical shepherding. And I wanted to share my thoughts on that for you guys and give you the permission to keep me accountable to these. So one of the things that he makes clear is that elders or shepherds should shepherd not out of compulsion, but willingly. Not out of compulsion, but willingly. You may think it doesn't apply too much to our culture, like in the West, or at least in America. People choose the ministry because they want to go into the ministry, by and large. But even still, it's a great reminder that we do this. The call into ministry has to come from a desire within. Like, a person could have all the qualifications, be a good teacher or preacher, feel like he's got the giftings, and people around him say you have the giftings to be a pastor or shepherd. But if he doesn't have the desire to do it, then he truly isn't qualified. He shouldn't be getting into the business of it because it's really hard. I mean, I'm sure your job or your career or your role, if you're a parent or whatnot, these things are hard, but you do it partly, and you do it well because you feel like it, because you want to do it, because you are willing to do it. And it stems all the way from the top. The Lord loves us and provides before us because he wants to, not out of compulsion, not out of, maybe a good word to think about it as duty, but because he wants to. And so I want to shepherd you all. And so that's one more thing you can keep me accountable to. If I don't have a smile on my face, there might be something amiss, right? The second thing he says is to do so eagerly, but not for shameful gain. In other words, work hard at it, do it eagerly, but the motives have to be clear. Shameful gain. Well, what could this look like? It could be earning far and away more than the average parishioner. Okay, so my salary needs to be in line with what you guys are earning. Secondly, one thing I thought of was seeking public glory and credit before others get it. So putting myself in front of others. Or finally, manipulating our governance structure, the policies of our church, the way we vote and whatnot, in a way that gets my way to win the day, especially in those areas that are like secondary or not primary to the role of the church. And then finally, he says, be an example. Don't be domineering. In other words, I can't ask you guys to do something that I'm not willing first to do, to get my own hands dirty. And right now we see that playing out in very simple ways, picking up chairs and setting up and tearing down and all that sort of thing. So those are just some broad things that he encourages elders and shepherds to do in that last chapter of First Peter. And I want you to know that I'm endeavoring and I'm committed to do and lead in that kind of way. And encourage you guys to watch me and encourage me and keep me accountable to lead that way as well. So just a little sidebar on that. I wanted to follow up with it and not brush over it, but spend some time with it. And would love to get some feedback from you guys if you have any. Just a reminder, we have children's leader training this week, Wednesday night at 6:30 at the church. And then Pentecost Sunday is coming up this Sunday. So hope you can make it. God bless you all this week. I'm praying for you. Bye-bye.